A few weeks ago it was Father's Day and my kids got together, they pooled their resources because they're always broke because they spend their money on crap, and they managed to buy me a load of boxes of carb killer protein bars, which are very, very yummy indeed. Now, whether a processed protein bar is really optimal nutrition, whether it's really good for you, that's a bit of a grey area, I suppose. What is not a grey area is that last week I ate 3 boxes. That's 36 bars. There is no grey. That is just not good. They are really, really yummy. What, 5:30 in the morning. I've already been in the office for a bit, my training, my job, looking after the kids, the house, everything. If I don't plan it out every morning, before I know it, the evening is here and something's been missed. So planning my day is normal. But this week, what I've been doing in addition is using MyFitnessPal to plan out exactly what I'm going to eat, to make sure that what I'm going to consume fits into my calorific requirements, my macros are all on target. Why? Because last week was a calorific consumption disaster zone. Now, some people that are in very poor shape will use that as a reason to justify poor food choices. When I was way over 300 pounds, I would tell myself, this meal is not ideal for breakfast, but it's a drop in the ocean, where a drop is 3 Big Macs and the ocean is just a fat human being. But once I decided to sort myself out and stop eating like an idiot, that actually all stopped, and I stopped using that kind of negative, oh, it can't make any difference motivation to eat badly. And I was great until things got better. I started to tell myself I can afford to have this cheat meal because it won't matter, I'm in better shape. And I was using a positive situation to do something negative. And as any child that's still allowed to go to school nowadays will tell you, a positive times a negative is still a negative. Last week was going very, very well. I've been using the Trainer Road program, I've been out running a lot, I've been on the bike a lot. It's going great. I was feeling light and fast and just fit. So I figured, what difference can one little pizza make? I'm actually going to blame Jen for the pizza. It was her idea. We were watching Space Force on Netflix. We thought that some junk food might make that disaster of a TV show vaguely tolerable. It didn't. John Malkovich talking in a funny accent and Steve Carell shouting a lot. If you want to know what it's like, watch Rounders,
Splash the pot,
and then Anchorman,
yelling about,
and remove all aspects of awesome from those two. I wake up the next day and I'm feeling lean. If anything, I'm feeling leaner. I'm thinking, hey, great, I got away with it. But I have got a little bit of a kind of carb craving kicking in. I think that's all right. I'll satisfy that with some clean carbs, some oats, some brown rice, some sweet potatoes. That'll be all right. Then a little bit of a kind of a more of a junk food, sort of a fat craving kicks in. Clean fats, not a problem. I finished the day swallowed up by about 8,000 calories of peanut butter and sweet potato fries. It is a nightmare. And then Tuesday is more of the same. Again, I look in the mirror and I appear to still be in as good shape as I was on the Sunday night. I feel great. Before I know it, the protein bars are out, the protein waffles are stacked deep. I'm on about 8,000 calories before I even get to my evening meal. So day 1 and day 2 are motivated by thinking that I can get away with it and feel in good shape, so it's all right. Day 6 and 7 at the end of the week, they're going to end up being motivated by thinking this has been such a disaster, what difference can it now make? Where the motivation crosses over from one to the other happens somewhere between day 3, 4 and 5. I can't tell really where. That information is just lost in a mist of piles of Greek yogurt topped with enough healthy fats to give a heart attack to a horse. Very, very annoying. I get very close to where I want to be, and then just complacency, just thinking that I'm all right now, allows me to slip back. And it's normally slipping back with clean foods, just too much of them. That pizza aside, everything I ate last week was in the right levels, pretty good stuff to be eating. There is no problem with it whatsoever. I took a random day last week and I stuck it into MyFitnessPal just to see. I then times it by 7. For the week, I ended up somewhere between 50 and 60,000 calories. clearly unsustainable in any way whatsoever. Actually, it's not, because that's why I used to weigh 330 pounds. It is not something I want to sustain. So every day this week, I have printed off my MyFitnessPal menu for the day. This is today's, and I start off by going in the kitchen and putting that together so I know what I'm going to be eating. That is the next job. Actually, it's not the next job today, because the first thing I'm doing now is jumping on the bike. There are two things that I want my body to get better at doing for the Ironman. One is burning fat as a fuel source, and the other is being able to exercise and train having eaten with food in my stomach. I typically work on the basis that if the workout is an hour 20 or less, as it is today, I'll do it fasted. If it's longer than that, especially if it's a brick session, then I'll do it later in the day having eaten something first, and bounce between the two. So today's session, 1 hour 20 on the bike, fasted. And how is my training going in general? It's going very well. I am really enjoying using Trainer Road. Very, very straightforward. Every day it tells me what to do on the bike, on the run. Obviously no swimming yet because the pools aren't open yet, but it's going great. My fitness feels like it is improving. In fact, last week I got a new personal best on my VO2 max according to Garmin. Despite all the food stuff, I think I celebrated with a protein bar. I've also solved a minor problem on the tech side as well. My Garmin Fenix 6 that I wear for running doesn't talk, bizarrely, to the Wahoo Kickr bike, which is mildly annoying because the Wahoo Kickr bike is about the most expensive thing Wahoo make, and the Fenix 6 is about the most expensive thing Garmin make. You think they'd have a chat with each other, but they don't. I forget why. I did talk to Garmin and Wahoo. I'll put the reasoning up on the screen. Anyway, why is that a problem? They don't talk. Well, the bike sends data to the iPad, to an iPhone, perfectly fine. So when I'm using Trainer Road, it's all there. I can see what the bike is doing. But because the watch can't see it, the only way to get a summary of the data from my rides into Garmin Connect, which is where I kind of gather all my fitness information, is to have the workout sent by Trainer Road after it's finished over to Garmin. Garmin then can track it. But it doesn't track it as comprehensively as if it had monitored it itself. So for example, because my runs are monitored on my Garmin watch, I get things like a VO2 max result, I get training load calculated. It doesn't do that for data, it just gets sent by a third party. I tried to solve it by using the watch to track the bike as well as Trainer Road tracking the bike. But because the watch can't see the bike, all the watch knows is how long I've been going for, what my heart rate is. And with the absence of things like power and cadence and so on, that information is useless. I solved it, unfortunately, by spending more money. Garmin 830 Edge computer. Typical Garmin, gives me more information than I could possibly know what to do with. I've now got power, average power, heart rate, average heart rate, time, cadence, the lot. And when I get a bike outside, eventually, it'll go on there and be even more useful outside. So what does that mean? It means that Trainer Road no longer needs to send its data after a ride rather, to Garmin. Instead, Garmin takes the data off of the 830 and it can use that to give me things like training load and VO2 max. In fact, my VO2 max recently, yesterday, was 57 for the bike, 56 for the run. Superior. How accurate is Garmin at establishing VO2 max? I'm going to say 100% accurate because it's telling me I'm superior. It's good enough for me. That is science right there. So, everything going well. Right, hour to go. Let's get this out of the way. 3, 2, 1, done. Garmin save, Trainer Road save. Okay, hour and 20, 900 calories burnt according to Garmin, fasted, feel very, very good. Trainer Road data goes off to Trainer Road, Garmin data goes off to Garmin Connect. I'm off to shower, then food. First meal of the day, most important one always, it is this. There's raw meat. If I do not feed the dogs, they will bark and wake up the whole house. Hungry? Eat. I have all my meals for the day pretty much laid out and ready to go now. I'm not going to go through what they are in any real detail, certainly not in terms of the calories and the macros and so on, because to be honest, unless you are also a 46-year-old, 220 pound, 6'6" person doing their first triathlon with a need for a slight calorie deficit, this isn't going to fit what you need. If you are that person, hey, me too. The idea is really just to give a concept of what I'm doing, which is really just to keep it simple and make it so that I can't go wrong. What I don't ever want to do is be walking into the kitchen and just thinking, oh, I'll go to the fridge and have a think about what I might want to eat, because that will not go well. What I want to do is come to the kitchen and think, do you know what? I know what my list of foods is for the day. I pick the meal that's relevant at that time. I go to the fridge, it's already been made up. I grab it, I eat it, and I'm done. There is no thinking, there is no thought process that can go wrong. For example, banana is a snack that I can grab later on. I've got my tuna, I've got my avocado and spinach salad, my yogurt and peanut butter and blueberry snack. I've got my whey protein for after my weights workout, some rice cooking over there, which I'll add to the salad. And I will also chuck some rice onto the evening meal as well. Jen tends to cook the evening meals that we all eat, the kids, me, Jen, and it is by and large good, healthy food, but occasionally small tweaks to keep the kids happy. They might want chips or fries. I'll chuck my rice in instead. Very, very easy to fit in around them when the house is largely built around eating decent food. There isn't much junk in the house to eat in the first place. So that is the plan. Oh, and also in terms of keeping it simple, I have a drawer where I keep all of my ingredients: oats, whey protein, casein protein, creatine, cocoa nibs, coconut flakes, anything that I might want as a ingredient to my healthy meals that no one else in the house is going to be wanting to eat, stay in the right place so I know where they are and I can keep them stocked up and so on. Again, keep it super, super simple. Is this a hassle? Yes. Good. It should be a hassle. I am a 46-year-old, 220 pound newbie to triathlon that wants to do an Ironman. It's supposed to be incredibly bloody hard. If it wasn't, everyone would do it and getting the medal would be largely pointless. So yes, it is inconvenient. It is what most people would not do. Good, let's tick that box. Right, the meal that is missing, the other meal that's missing, is my evening treat meal, which actually popped up in one of my other videos and people said, oh, that looks nice because it looks quite yummy. Ingredients ready. Let me explain the history behind this meal. I have always typically finished the day with some casein protein. Slower to digest than whey protein, so a good one to finish the day on and have as a sort of overnight protein replenisher. Casein protein. But I would find that having a casein shake in the evening would leave me feeling hungry, especially if I'm watching TV or something, and I would then be prone to snacking. So I have turned the casein protein shake into a meal. Now you have to be slightly careful with levels of ingredients here and make sure they fit your particular requirements. What I do is I take an equal measure of casein protein and instant oats. This is chocolate instant oats from MyProtein, and I mix them together with some raw cocoa powder and then some xanthan gum. A teaspoon is all you need of the gum into the blender. Now you'll know if you have not put enough water in because the gum basically solidifies the product. What you're looking for is a level of consistency that you find most palatable. That clearly, rock solid in there, is not it. So you keep adding a little bit more water until you get the sort of gooey, moussey kind of paste that you like. For me, my inspiration is Angel Delight.
Angel Delight, much more than a dessert.
From when I was about 10 years old. And once you're there, you're almost done. You'll need something to scrape out the jug because this stuff is gloopy and half of it's still in the bowl. But that's the foundation, and the foundation is easy to play with because it's half casein protein and half instant oats. You can play around with the ratio of protein to carbs very simply. The amount that you have just dictates the number of calories you can have. It makes a really yummy, chocolatey mousse type base. And you can just eat it like that. It is certainly an awful lot more interesting and time consuming to eat than a casein shake is, especially if you eat it with a teaspoon, because that always makes a meal seem like it's lasting longer. Professional tip. I then add on top of it whatever I am allowed based on my macros for the day. So if, like today, I've got the bike, which I've done, I've got a run later, I'm doing some weights tonight, so quite a high calorie demand, I might top that with a banana for some extra carbs. I might put on some chopped nuts, some cocoa nibs. If I'm feeling really extravagant, I'll blend up a protein bar because they're yummy. And that is it. It makes what you'll see in a second, snack meal that takes ages to eat, feels like it's going on forever. And that is it. In the fridge for 20 minutes and it goes a little bit firmer. Easy as that. Filling, not overly bad for me. Macros all fit. Takes ages to consume. Perfect TV watching snack for last thing at night. The only thing you don't want to do is eat it watching Space Force because nothing can make that any good. And that is pretty much it for today. Got the rest of the day to get on with now, and everything is planned for, which is the idea. Next update will be an exciting one because next weekend is my first race of the post-COVID year. Forest Warrior, supposed to be a full-on obstacle course race. It won't be a full-on obstacle course race. They're already talking about running in waves and wearing masks. So not quite sure how it's going to go, but I will be there. GoPro will be strapped on me somewhere. We'll see how we go.